Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is our last day of the webinar. So what I'm going to do tonight will be just no more lecture, okay, just on the subject matter. So what we have gone through yesterday was that we have already gone through the exam techniques, and hopefully by tonight, okay, we can apply that particular technique in addressing our questions. All right. So what I'm going to use tonight will be the December 2018 exam, because that's the only one that's available. Okay, we don't have any March 2019 available. So what you have here, okay, when you open up your your exam question, is that you'll see the first page. And this particular first page is actually your introduction of the case study. So you need to actually read it clearly, okay, and understand it, so that you'll be able to actually look at that particular requirement, and basically you'll be able to actually gauge what the story is all about and help you to analyze the question. Okay. Usually what I will do is that, okay, with my students, okay, if you were to see this kind of passage, okay, it's so wordy, and sometimes you feel like, it's too much to read. So what you need to do is, okay, first thing is try to divide it into small section. All right. So like what I'm doing here, okay, divide it first, okay, so that you'll be able to actually, is look at it in pieces. This is actually, well, it's psychologically that when you see small, you divide something into smaller pieces, it's easier for you to handle it, and it's manageable. So what you do is you just draw a line like this. So it's good to work on small pieces rather than looking at the big chunk. So what do you have here? Let's see what we can do. Okay. So what did the question says about this particular case study? It's highlight hotels. Okay, this is the name of the hotel. Highlight. What it is, what this hotel is the ownership of the hotel. This is, okay, it's a listed hotel chain. So basically, when you look at that particular term, you should know that it is talking about the ownership. All right, so when it is a listed company, automatically you know that there are shareholders. Okay, there are board of directors, there are CEO, CFO, a structured kind of governance, okay, in this kind of organization. Where is it located? Okay, it says here located in the country of DLAN. And what is important here is that, okay, DLAN has a developed economy. Okay, this is crucial. All right, it tells you about the background of where this particular hotel that is located, and at least it gives you a rough picture, okay, what kind of country that DLAN is. Okay, it's developed economy. So it has what? A strong growth in the last 15 years. So, and DLAN also has a highly developed tourism industry. Okay, so basically this, when you see this, it says that it's a highly developed tourism industry. Basically, because of this, okay, it supports highlight hotels, and that's why highlight hotels are able to actually experience a strong growth in the last 15 years. What else can you get from this particular? What you can gauge when you see this particular developed economies as well? At least you, at the back of your head, or if it's a developed economy, basically people in that particular country will have a better purchasing power, all right? And definitely will have a lot more opportunities to actually have further growth, okay? So this is something that you have to think at the back of your head, okay, when you actually read this. And the second part here, it talks about what? It says that highlight competitive advantage. What's the competitive advantage of highlight? It's built up on its highly competitive pricing strategy. Okay, so this is the strategy. Competitive pricing strategy is actually their competitive advantage. And it has been a significant factor in its current position as a leading hotel brand. So, so what does that tells you? What does that tells you? Conclusion that you can put here, okay? Definitely in exam you use your pen, okay? So, okay, roughly you know that highlight is a market leader. What else that you get from here? Okay, highlight normally attracts those travelers seeking no frills accommodation. What do you know about no frills? It's what? Low cost. And because of that particular reason, that's why you see that further sentence says that at a reasonable price, and as such is referred to as a budget hotel chain. Okay, once you know it's a budget hotel chain, okay, try to relate it to the budget hotel chain that you know, like Ibis. All right, in our place here we have Tune Hotel. Okay, so basically those are the no frills accommodation style of a hotel. So every room here provides an ensuite bathroom, TV, and free Wi-Fi internet access, and each hotel offers a complimentary breakfast service. So basically what they have is the basics, all right? They don't have anything extra, because here it says that highlight hotels do not provide additional services such as bars, restaurants, and leisure facilities. So every highlight hotel has a similar layout design, okay, that is common everywhere, and mostly located at airports, city center locations, and close to major transport routes, such as Dillon's main road works and train stations. Do you think that this is significant? Why do you think that this is significant? Because of what? Because it's quite near to transportation, so it's easier for people to travel around. And especially when it is located at the airports. If, let's say, people were to actually landed there and then have not actually booked any hotels, this would be a strategic place actually to stay, because it's very, very near. And at the same time, at the city center location, you don't have to think about other transportation to walk within the city center, because the hotel is there. Okay. So basically, if you want to move around, it's quite easy. So what you can say is that this particular hotel is located at a strategic location. Okay. So basically, how many competitive advantage I would say, and how many strength that this particular highlight is having. On top of having a competitive pricing strategy, is a leading brand, all right, of a budget hotel. The location is actually a strategic location as well. And the next paragraph, okay, on your introduction, it tells you that, okay, this particular hotel was founded 40 years ago, beginning with only 2 hotels in the capital city of Dillon. All right. Since then, it has grown significantly, operating 510 hotels, approximately 46,000 rooms. By the end of 2000, X7A, X9, X8 financial year. Okay, here they just highlight to you that's the financial year end. So it's now the largest hotel chain. Another emphasis, okay, in terms of number of hotels as well, all right, in Dillon. So you can imagine that they are everywhere in Dillon, all right. So since it was founded, all highlights growth has been achieved organically. What does this mean? Excuse me. Okay, organic here means internal development. It means that they start fresh, all right? They did not actually acquire, okay? They actually set up this particular hotels of theirs, okay? Maybe they construct it, all right? They did not acquire. So it's also called as internal development, okay? So with this particular organic growth, that means they are good at developing their own strategy by building up their own hotels. So what happened here is that, okay, with the investment being gradually made in new highlight branded hotels each year throughout Dillon, although it is currently leading hotel brand in Dillon, okay, in terms of the market share, here it says that they are also facing fierce competition from whom? Home-based and international hotel chains. In the last 10 years, Highlight has made significant investment in web technology. Okay, this is important as well. Okay, investment in web technology. Okay, what's the results of this? That means the consequences of this particular investment. Okay, 75% of the room bookings in 2007 to 2008 financial year, okay, actually were being completed through Highlight website. Okay, that means people were to actually book the hotel through the website. Okay, they go to Highlight website. What else that is actually highlighted here? They have what? Low numbers of staff in each hotel, but the staff in this hotel is highly trained, provide excellent customer service. Okay, this is considered as a strength. Okay, why I would say that this is basically, okay, you can just put here, okay, basically this is a strength of this highlight. Reason being, people always like, you know, complain that they are not able to actually perform the work because they are understaffed. But here, for highlight, even though they don't have many staff, they are still able to provide an excellent customer service. Okay, basically, I would consider this as a strength. if you notice that SN, when I read, I put some notes here, I put some, notes here and there. This is what I meant by reading it critically and analytically. That means the moment you start reading, you start thinking. All right, what would this particular information tells me, and how would it actually relates to my technical knowledge? All right, basically I know that when they say that it's a leading hotel brand, basically I know it's a market leader. Okay, so I just put this here. This is an example of when they say that they have a mostly located at airports, city center location. So they're trying to tell you what? It's a strategic location. So these are the little bit of the points that you have to actually put in just to actually guide you on the next step that you're supposed to do after this. Okay, this is your background picture on highlight. Why? Because after you have read this, at least you have some rough idea on the background of this particular hotel. And to understand further about this particular hotel, then you need to further read. Okay, here is you. Oh dear, what's happening? Okay. Right? This is you. Who are you? In this case, who are you? This is senior business analyst. Okay. And what else? You are working with whom? Within business analyst department of highlight. Okay. What does this tell you? You are actually, are you an outsider or are you an employee of this particular organization? Basically, this particular statement tells that you are whom? Why do I put this in? Okay, you are a senior business analyst. Yes, that's your role. Okay, that's your role. But what is so significant about being working within the business analysis department of highlight? Tells that you are the employee. Why this is important? Because it will have an impact on the way that you are going to write your report. All right. This will tell you the tone of your writing. Okay, and then you again, you report to whom? You report to your chief business analyst, your boss. Okay, and then who reports directly to the finance director? His boss. Okay, on a wide range of business and strategic issues. That means your focus is actually on business and strategic issues. Okay. What next that you have? So after that, you are followed with what? The exhibits. Okay, the following exhibits should be used to undertake the task asked of you by the chief business analyst and the finance director. Okay, what basically that you will have? Okay, inside your exhibit number 1. What is there in your exhibit number 1? It says here is a chief executive statement, report on performance, okay, for the year ending 30th June 2008. Okay, chief executive statement, basically this is a statement that you usually have inside your annual report. All right. So what you can gauge is that the possible thing that you will have, okay, that you can find in this particular chief executive statement report would be, it will be what? Talking about performance of the company all the while, and perhaps you can find the strategy there, okay, strategy that they have actually used that make them what, either successful or not successful. And then you might also find information about, okay, the future strategy of that particular organization. That's what usually is inside the chief executive statement. So if you don't understand what the content should be, it's good for you to actually open up an annual reports, look at just the chairman's statement, okay, see what should be inside there roughly. Once you know, and if you are used to look at the annual report and read through the annual report, you'll be able to gauge what the kind of information that you'll get from this particular exhibit number 1. Under exhibit number 2, okay, is Zealand Hotel Industry Report 2000X8. So basically, it's talking about what? It says here, Zealand Hotel Industry Report. So it's about hotel industry in Zealand. So it's not just focusing only on highlight, but it's actually focusing on the overall industry of hotel industry in Zealand. Okay. And then exhibit number 3, it says here is a fact sheet relating to highlights proposed acquisition target. So basically, this actually tells you what? Oh, what is it? It's a strategy. Perhaps that's what the new strategy is, okay? So if, let's say, here it says it's a proposed acquisition target. Remember that when you have read the whole of that particular introduction just now, you found that this particular highlight, all the while, they have been expanding through internal development. That means an organic growth. They have no experience actually acquiring other organizations. So now when you look at this particular exhibit, oh, there's a proposed acquisition target. So perhaps a new strategy that they may have. But remember, this particular strategy that they have, okay, tells you what? Previously, they were developing through organic growth, now going into something that is totally new. So if it's something totally new, so it means what? It should give you an idea that they don't have any experience in acquisition. Okay. Exhibit number 4, Zealand Daily News Articles. Okay, under Zealand, especially when you talk about daily news articles, what should cross your mind? What do you think that you should have actually, you can gauge from this particular Zealand daily news articles? It might be about what? They might talk about highlight. Okay. Right. So what would be the possible thing that you can actually gauge from here? Oh, might be, okay, something good, or maybe something not good. Or the article may be about other hotels. Okay, talking about what? What other hotels have done, all right? Okay, what they did. Or, okay, good or bad. So here, you can actually relate it to perhaps, all right? Okay, I'm not saying that this is what they have. I'm just trying to tell you that, okay, you at this stage, you may guess, all right? You may guess, or perhaps I might find something like this inside this particular Dylan Daily News article. Because if you have actually done all the specimens, basically they have all these articles. So most of the articles that you can find in the specimens actually are talking about what? Are talking about issues that's happening in other organizations, similar organizations, okay? Some are good, some are bad, okay? May have also implication on this particular organization. And sometimes some of those particular articles commented perhaps the company directly. So these are the things that you may find inside this particular Dylan Daily News articles. Then exhibit number 5, extract of a senior management team briefing, and then exhibit number 6, board minutes, okay, board meeting minutes, November 2008. Okay, always remember, okay, when there's board minutes, okay, there's board meeting, there's always board minutes, and when there's meeting as well, you know that there's always something important that they raise during this particular board meeting, and you might find what's the things that they raise actually inside this particular minutes. Okay, now we move on to the case requirement. Okay, what do we have here? How are you all getting along so far? So good? I hope you all are okay outside there. Okay. So now, under the case requirements, the Board of Highlight is currently looking to develop the Highlight business model in Finlandia. Oh, just now we're talking about Dylan. And then now you find that there's a new thing here. What is it all about? Okay, I think you use underline. All right. Talking about Finlandia. Okay, so you know that you still remember, okay, the information that you have previously that was talking about this particular proposed acquisition. Perhaps this is all what it is all about. All right. So as you read through, as you go through, you try to relate it back, you know, back and forth on all the informations that you have read through. So it's a developing country. Good growth potential, all right? However, as operating in a different country would be a new strategic direction for Highlight, okay? The finance director has stated that before any such strategy is considered, it is important to understand key factors in home country, that is Dylan. Okay, which have driven Highlight's success. So what does that tells you? So indirectly, this particular information up here, okay, is actually telling you that they want to actually, you know, develop a business model in Vilandia. So this tells you what? That means they are going to go out from Dylan in another country. Okay, so that's what they are planning to do. So as the finance director said that before they move to somewhere, first thing is, okay, they need to actually understand what actually has made, okay, highlight successful in Dylan. So basically that actually should actually tell you what? Oh, they're talking about what? National competitive advantage, right? You're talking about how they are successful in their home country. So perhaps the national competitive advantage, perhaps Potter's diamond can actually help me to answer this particular question. Okay, but let's look further whether can I actually use it. Okay, so you are required. Okay, this is your requirement. The chief business analyst has asked you to prepare briefing notes. This is the format and this is your task. All right. Who are you going to prepare it for? You are going to prepare it for the finance director. All right. So who's your finance director then? Finance director is your you're preparing the briefing notes for the finance director. For consideration at the next board meeting. All right. Which discusses, that means this is a question verb. All right. Question verb here is discusses. Okay. So you must know what it means. I think we went through yesterday. And I think for those who are already in the WhatsApp group, I've already posted to you the question verbs by ACCA. So you may refer to that. Okay. So you need to discuss the key factors which have enabled Highlight to be successful in its home country of Dylan. So you need to actually discuss what are the things that actually has made this particular Highlight successful in Dylan, in Highlight's own country. Okay, so like I mentioned to you just now, once I've read this, okay, automatically at the back of my head, oh, I think Potter's 5 diamond can actually help me to do that. All right, but you can actually mention that you are using Potter's diamond to actually analyze this. But you just mentioned that, okay, this is you're preparing a briefing note. Okay, when you are to prepare the briefing notes, that means it's enough for you to actually, what should you have? What was the format for the your briefing notes? So it's enough for you to just have what? Just write your heading, briefing notes, okay? And then for what? What is it about? Factors enabling highlight success in the Dylan. Perhaps that can be your title. Okay, look at the format of the briefing note inside the slides that we have last night. Okay, there's a format there, so follow that particular format. So you can have for the intention of finance director. Okay, then you will have what? A short introduction. It shouldn't be too long. Okay, just to mention that what you are doing, right? Because you are supposed to be discussing the key factors that makes highlight successful. So basically that's what you should actually be writing there. Okay, so just prepare that. Okay, you are supposed to have this particular format. Okay, that's your task. So like I mentioned to you just now, you need to also think about the technical knowledge that you must have in order for you to actually answer this question. So like I mentioned to you, okay, is if I were to read this, what crossed my head is that at least technical knowledge of what's the biggest one that we actually covered. The main title will be your optimizing strategic decision. We put here, see clearer. Okay, basically this is what you have. All right. So try to narrow it down further. Okay, this is about optimizing strategic decisions. So what do you have? What are the things that's covered inside there? So it's external environment. And in your external environment, you have like micro, you have national competitive advantage, you have many things, isn't it? So what is this actually, this area, which one actually can be used to answer this particular question? Then you cascade it down to national competitive advantage. So basically can be explained by Waters diamond. Okay, once you have put there, so spell out, okay, put here what Potter's diamond are, put your points down, okay, while you are still fresh doing your planning, okay, put it down. So what you have is factors what else do you have? Factors condition, you have supporting what else that you may have? Then you have okay, so basically that's what you should have. So let me just reduce that. All right. Okay. So just put it down. Why you need to actually spell it out so that okay, once you read after this, okay, when you read your exhibits, at least you can find okay what you are supposed to be looking for. All right. And what else that you should actually be looking at? Look here. Look at this. The 16 marks here. Okay. To pass, aim for two-thirds of the marks. So roughly 16 marks. How many minutes should you actually allocate to answer that particular question? Okay. Roughly you have 240 minutes. Okay. You minus 40 minutes Then you have 200 minutes. All right. So 200 minutes divided by 80. Why only 80? Because you are not actually answering the professional skills. You answer your 80, okay? That means indirectly you'll get your professional marks if you answer it well. So if you ask me, okay, professional marks is like a bonus mark if actually you follow all what is required to get that particular professional mark. That is actually a bonus, a good bonus for you. So it's supposed to be like 2.5 minutes. You multiply it with 16. Okay, you will have like 40 minutes to answer this particular questions. If let's say you take 40 minutes as your planning time, right? But if you take 1 hour, to 40 minus 60 minutes, okay, $180 minutes, divide by 80, then you have 2.25 minutes times 16. You got about 36 minutes. Okay. So if you can be fast in your planning, then you can actually have more time to actually answer this particular question. But if you like to spend more time in your plan, then you only have like 36 minutes, okay, for you to answer this. But the better your plan, let's say the longer hour that you take and you have a good plan, I think 36 minutes to answer this particular question is more than enough. And what else? You are tested on analysis skill. Okay, verb was discussed, but the skills that you are supposed to be demonstrating is actually analysis skill. So in your analysis skill, you're supposed to be demonstrating what kind of skills. All right, analysis requires you to investigate, that it requires for you to inquire, and then requires you to consider. So basically that's what your analysis skill is actually requires you to actually demonstrate the ability to investigate, ability to inquire, and ability to consider. So any questions so far on this? If you don't have any, then I'll proceed with the next one. Okay, remember that when we went through our March examiner's report, why that you need to actually answer the question in sequence. So when you look at this past examination question on December 2018, you see, after the story that you have up here, a small story up here, and you answer your 1A. And then followed by another short story, okay, the chronology of this particular requirement. Here it says that the Board of Highlight has actually identified an existing chain of hotels called Comfy Stay, located in Vilandia. And that's the reason why you can actually answer, after 1A, then you go to 2B, and then, you go to like a 3A. So why you are not allowed to actually answer that way, okay? It is actually not portraying the whole story of this particular case study. So if you notice that just now they are looking to develop highlight business model in Vilandia. So this is what they actually do. After they have actually learned on what makes them successful, then you see the next one that they say what? They have identified existing chain of hotels called Comfy Stay. So perhaps, okay, this is the sequence of what have been actually done in the first question just now, that you found you want to actually expand, and now you found a place where you want to actually, have a new outlet that you want just now through possible acquisition. How do I know possible acquisition? Because inside the exhibit just now they did mention about acquisition. So here I can actually guess, or perhaps this is the one that they're talking about just now. All right. Which it is considered, you see, considering acquiring. The chief business analyst has passed you a fact sheet which he prepared containing data related to the proposed acquisition. So you know that they are planning to acquire another company. So using the fact sheet referred to above and any other relevant information, you are to prepare a report. So this is your task. The format that you should know. For the finance director, which evaluates, so this is actually your question verb. Okay. This is your question verb. Okay, to evaluate the proposal to acquire Comfy hotel chain. So basically, what syllabus area is this? Is it still optimizing? Yes. Okay. So basically, it's optimizing strategic decision. It'll be on evaluation, all right? But at the same time, all right, it's also evaluating and enabling strategic Which part is the financial analysis? Okay. So what else should we be looking for? So basically you have your question verb, you have your task here, and now you're preparing a report for the finance director. Okay. All right. If you still remember that when here, the role here, your role, a business analyst, okay, of this particular department of highlight, remember that I put here employee, right? Why is this so significant that I put here as employee? Because here you are not an outsider. So when you write a report, remember this actually affects your tone of writing. Okay, let me just put here, okay, your tone of writing. If you are an employee of that particular organization, then when you write a report, okay, you can actually use that, okay, we have done this, so our company, or you can use that particular person. All right, the second, I mean, you're talking about this particular, this is, I would say, it's more to English. All right, so you can actually use we or our for you to actually write. Okay, so if let's say you are an outsider or you are a consultant, that means you are not an employee of the organization, then the way that you are going to address your audience, okay, it will be what? It will be your organization. All right, your company. So that's where it differentiates between your way of writing that particular report. So basically here is your task. Okay, you have done this, so you know your subject matter. Okay, so you are going to use this to actually answer this particular question. It's about what? It's about proposal to acquire comfy hotel chain. So what is this particular professional skills of evaluation? This is where you need to assess, estimate, and appraise. All right. But oh, still 16 marks. Okay, remember here. So it should take about the same time as you have up here. Okay, it's either 40 minutes or 36 minutes, depending on which particular time plan that you actually used, whether it's 1 hour or 40 minutes. Remember, maximum is only one hour. Don't take too long. Okay. I hope you all can follow. All right. If you have any questions, you can ask. I hope you all are not dozing off. All right. Okay. The next one here is following a subsequent decision by the highlight board the proposed acquisition of Comfy Stay Hotel has recently been announced to the Zealand stock market. All right, so that means they have actually announced it here. The market has reacted positively. All right, the market reacted positively to the announcement. However, okay, there are some press reports. Oh, what have they done? What did they talk about? Okay, so basically there's some negative press reports, all right, about the proposed acquisition, criticizing highlight. You are to prepare so what are you supposed to be preparing? Draft press release. So this is actually your what should be inside this particular press release? It should be responding to the criticism, okay, assessing the social and environmental impact of highlights, proposed investment in Vilandia. Okay, so that means you're supposed to be responding to this particular criticism, okay, assessing the social and environmental impact of highlights proposed investment in Vilandia with a view to reassuring its stakeholders of highlights, okay. Remember to what? Reassuring its, okay, responding to, first you need to do is responding to the criticism, assessing the social and environmental impact of the highlights proposed investment in Vilandia with a view to reassuring its stakeholders of highlights intentions to maintain its high principles and standards in acquiring the Comfy Stay hotel chain. So what do you think that this particular requirement requires to you to do? And what do you think would be the syllabus area that helps you to answer this? That would be social and environmental impact would be related to your okay. So make sure here you prepare the press release and should be addressing this particular social and environmental impact of highlights proposed investments. So you need to actually read the exhibit to see further what was the critique all about. All right. So when you talk about drafting this particular press release, do you remember, okay, your intention of having this press release is actually to reassure the stakeholders of highlight, okay, intention to actually maintain its high principle and standards in acquiring comfy stay hotel chain. That means to tell the stakeholders, okay, our intention is still okay, is to maintain our high principle and standards, even if we are acquiring comfy stay hotel chain. So they are trying to actually give some reassurance to the stakeholders. So this is where you need to read further, because why? Before you are able to answer this, definitely you must know what the issue is all about. Okay, because you're supposed to be responding to that criticism. And definitely it's related to what? Social and environmental impact of that particular investment. So what else that you should actually know here? Okay, remember how many minutes just now? Okay, we have like 10 marks. Since we have already calculated just now let's use 2.25, okay, you're taking the maximum 2.25 times 10 should only takes you 2.25 minutes. Okay. Similar to the previous particular requirement, not just question. Remember, I put here to pass, aim for 2/3 of the marks. Okay, if you are not able to write full marks for 16 points for 16 marks, at least you aim 2/3 of the marks must be inside your answer. All right. So similarly to this, also the same thing, 2/3. All right. So basically about 10 to 11 marks. Okay, that would be good enough for you to actually pass. Don't aim for 50. Okay, if anything happen, if you were to fall back, it is actually fail. So at least if it's 2/3, let's say if you don't meet certain, okay, you can fulfill the requirements of the examiner for certain points. So if let's say your marks were to fall, at least you can still have that particular buffer for you to actually still pass this particular question. Okay, same goes to here, 2/3, and then here also 2/3. All right. So in exam condition, okay, sometimes you can't afford to actually answer all because of your perhaps maybe limited knowledge in the question, okay, to answer the question requirement, and you are tired to think of the points, and the only points that you can think of is just a few points, but make sure that particular few points of yours, okay, you are still able to get 2/3 of the marks. All right. So communication skill, basically here, okay, you have your question verbs, right? Here, assessing. So it's inform, persuade, clarify. So if it's testing you on communication skills, usually it's either you have, sometimes you have to prepare a PowerPoint slides, but in this case, you're supposed to be preparing what? A draft press release, okay, still a medium of communication. Okay, this one, your medium of communication here is actually to your stakeholders, okay, reassuring them on the criticism of the event, and then trying to tell your stakeholders your stand. Okay, so the story follows. Here, although highlights shareholders have generally responded favorably to the proposed acquisition of the country's stay hotel chain, Highlights Board is considering how it should effectively communicate with all its key stakeholders to ensure that they understand the strategic decisions. Okay, so what you have here is that shareholders actually opposition of Comfy Hotel. So, but the board is considering how it should effectively communicate. To whom? All key stakeholders. What's the purpose? So that they understand strategic decisions and direction of the business. The finance director has recently asked the board to consider the use of integrated reporting. So here, finance, excuse me. So finance director has recently asked the board to consider the use of integrated reporting, assisting in this communication, and in building relationship with highlights key stakeholders. All right. So it's talking about what? Communication and building relationship with key stakeholders. So what are you supposed to do? What's your next task? So you're working with this particular highlight company, okay, as a senior business analyst just now, right? So you are again asked to do something. Okay, what is it that you are asked to do? The finance director has asked you to provide her with briefing notes. Okay, so that is your what? That's your task. Then the format that you're supposed to have, okay, which she will use to assist her in discussion with the highlights board members. All right. So what is it that you are supposed to be doing? Okay, the briefing. What's the content of the briefing notes? So it should reach what? Assess, role and benefits, of integrated reporting. All right, it's not just simply a general role and benefits of integrated reporting, but it has to be related directly in assisting effective communication in building relationship with highlights key stakeholders. Okay, so this is what you're supposed to be doing. How many marks? 12 marks. Aim for tutored. All right. At least you write something, even if you don't know what the answer should be, at least a rough idea on what integrated reporting is and how it would actually be helping them. Try not to leave any answer, okay, blank, okay, without any answer. A question remark. Try not to actually leave it blank, okay. Try to answer the question. So basically here, you're supposed to be assessing just the role and benefits of integrated reporting, okay, from the aspect of effective communication and in building relationship. So that's what your focus should be when you actually do this particular briefing notes. So how many minutes should you take to actually answer this particular question? It's 2.25 minutes times 12. So make sure that you answer within this time. If let's say you have not finished writing, but your time is up, move on to the next question. All right, so this way, if you know the time, this actually guides you on how you're going to write. Okay, how fast should you actually be writing and putting all your answers? All right, what's the skills tested here? So it should be assessing, estimate, and appraise. All right. This is basically your question verb. All right. Okay, can you all hear me clearly? I hope so. Seems that you all are quite quiet tonight. All right. I hope the connection is okay. Okay. So once we are done with this, then we move on to the next one. Okay, the third question or the third requirement. At the most recent board meeting of Highlight, okay, a discussion occurred on the potential threat of disruptive technology. Okay, in the hotel industry. Following this meeting, the chief executive has requested further information for the board on this issue. So what's your task now? All right. So your next task is actually the chief business analyst, your boss, has asked you to write a report. Again, this is your the format for the next board meeting, which discusses that's your question verb. The potential challenges to highlight posed by the development of the disruptive technologies which are emerging, okay, in the hotel industry, and highlight the potential application of disruptive technologies which may be considered by highlight. All right. So what you're supposed to be doing here is, okay, you are supposed to be writing a report. Remember, discussed. What is it that you're supposed to be discussing? Potential challenges to highlight. On what issue? Development of the disruptive technologies in where? In the hotel industry. And what else do I need to do? You need to highlight another question verb. Potential application of disruptive technologies which may be considered by highlight. That means how highlight can actually, okay, able to use this particular disruptive technology which you require them to actually, which you are required to, which highlight is, okay, required to consider, okay, may be able to consider. Did I put here just now the syllabus area? Oh, sorry, I did not have. Okay, let me just go back to this. I forgot about the syllabus area just now. My apology, thousands of apology. All right, so syllabus area here would be effective leadership that is on sustainability, where the focus is actually integrated reporting. All right, this is your area. What about the rest? Okay, God. Okay, here your syllabus area would be, okay, evaluating and enabling strategic change under IT application. Okay, So what else do we have? Next thing is, okay, your marks. How many minutes should you take? Okay, aim for tutored. Okay, if you're not able to actually write a lot of points, at least your strategy is to aim for tutored. Okay, what next? The next thing that we have will be looking at what? The skepticism skills that actually being tested here. So that will be okay. Question. And challenge. All right. So did I miss anything? So your syllabus area is here. So this is related to your IT application, right? Okay, remember your points here. Report is on what? Discusses the potential challenge posed by this disruptive technology, and then after that, highlight potential application of disruptive technologies, okay, which may be considered by highlight. Okay, so basically how highlight can take advantage of this for them. Okay, so make sure when you answer you address both of this particular question verb. And look at the next story. At the board meeting, all right, the finance director presented information on 3 risks. In highlights current information system environment. And the board has requested further analysis on this particular risk. So here they are talking about risk. So this actually is quite clear that you know the syllabus area would be ethical issues. All right, so basically this is the syllabus area. So let's see which part of the syllabus area. All right, so before we do that, let's have a look at this. Required. Finance director has asked you to prepare. Okay, you are preparing again. This is actually your right? So you have to prepare 3 presentation slides, one for each risk identified. Okay, that means most likely they have, okay, you have to identify this particular risk. Okay, one for each risk slide. There here it says that what? You have 3 risks in highlights current information system. So you know that there are 3 and accompanying notes. For the next board meeting, assessing the potential outcomes. Okay, this is your question verb, assessing potential outcomes of each of the information system risks identified by the finance director. All right, and then you are supposed to be, that's one particular, okay, thing that you need to do. Okay, okay, for your task, you know that you're supposed to be preparing the 3 slides and accompanying notes, and you know that the content of your slides and accompanying notes should be this one, assessing potential outcomes of each of the information system risks identified by the finance director. Okay, the potential outcome that has already been identified by finance director. And another question verb, right? And you have also another here, okay? Okay, that's your question verb. Here also is referring to this. Okay. Remember, for each risk, okay, you're supposed to assess potential outcome and then recommend actions. Okay, for each risk, which highlights should take in order to control this risk. Your intention is actually to control the risk. Okay, next thing will be (27 minutes). Okay, 2/3 of 12. Okay, you may want to aim 2/3 of 12 marks. All right. So aim for about 8 to 9 marks. All right. If you think that your points is not enough to go for 12 marks, at least you aim for 2/3, about 8 marks. Okay, so when you read this particular thing further, what do you think that actually the syllabus area is supposed to be assessing the potential outcome and recommend action for each risk which highlight should take in order to control this All right. So basically, all right, this is what we have actually done for our task. Let's go back and have a look at what we are supposed to be actually looking for when we read our exhibits after this. Okay, so you are done in doing this. So the next thing is, okay, try to remember, okay, this first question is about what? Oh, national competitive advantage. Okay, and the next one is about the evaluation that you're supposed to be doing, all right, for the proposal. So at least when you have this in mind, okay, as you read through after this, at least you can pick up points for which particular questions that you have, all right. Okay, so I have this, and then I have optimizing strategic decisions about financial analysis. Okay, so what else do I have? Okay, next thing that I have is, okay, is on effective leadership. All right, I'm talking about this particular social and environmental impact. So this is my question number 2. So try to recap back. Okay, trying to recap what you have actually done, so that when you read your exhibit, you will know what you will be looking for. This question is about integrated reporting. Okay, then the last one here is about, okay, disruptive technologies, something that can actually, something that you can actually look for inside the exhibits. Okay, it's on disruptive technologies. And here's talking about risk assessment and response. Basically, this is what you have. Okay, we missed one element here. Commercial acumen. What is it being tested here under commercial acumen? So under this particular commercial acumen, okay, you are supposed to be demonstrating. Oops. Okay, demonstrating where. Oh. You are supposed to use judgment. You're supposed to show insights. All right. So there we are done with this. Okay. Now it's time to read the exhibits. How are you all so far? I hope you're fine outside there. Okay. Any question? So you are clear? Okay. So I really hope that you are clear. Okay, let's look at what we have here. Oh. So just now that question number 1 that we already know that you're supposed to actually look for something related to national competitive advantage, right? Perhaps when you read through, you can actually look for points that you can actually use to to write on those. And as you look into that particular requirement as well, okay, just now that when you go through that particular question number 1, you, okay, on top of national competitive advantage, you are actually supposed to be looking for elements that you can actually answer to do your evaluation on the proposal. And then the question number 2 just now is about what? Criticism. Okay, you are supposed to criticize something that's related to social and environmental impact on the investment. All right, and then you're supposed to actually look for something that you can actually help you to write on the role and benefits of integrated reporting. Basically, for this particular question, you need to know the technical knowledge well. Only then you'll be able to actually use it to answer the question. Then question number 3. Okay, you are supposed to be discussing on the challenges posed by the development of disruptive technologies. Okay, that means this particular potential challenges, it should be something that is related to highlight. All right, it's not just an ordinary general challenges, but that particular challenges should actually be in the context of the case. And another one that you may want to actually, okay, the final one that we have just now was on risk, right? So you should be looking for something that's related to that particular 3 risks that they were asking for. So now let us read through our exhibits. Remember, for this particular exhibits, you find that there are pictures. So it wouldn't be that boring for you to actually read through. It's not just only, you know, words. If it's only words, like what we had just now, then you need to actually break down into that small particular chunk, right? So when you have it in small pieces, it's easier. But when it comes to this particular exhibits, I think it's kind of easy to read. Why? It's kind of structured and with all these particular pictures in it. So you see, it's in this kind of paragraph, and then you have all this. So if you don't actually draw a line, it's okay. But if you still want to draw a line, like I mentioned to you, you can still do that as well. Okay, just to make it like, you know, small pieces. All right, this is something that is. Okay, what else can you find here? So basically this is what you have. Okay, your focus. Wow, you have like 2 pages for your exhibit number 1. Okay, then you have this. This is a continuation of your exhibit number 1. It's kind of lengthy, right? But it's better to have a lengthy exhibits rather than short exhibits. You can't find much for you to actually write. Okay, so let's go into pieces by pieces. Okay, what do you have here? Highlight have, okay, in highlight we have created, this is a chairman statement just now. All right, report on performance for the year ended 30th June 2008. Highlight, okay, in highlight we have created DLand's most popular hotel brand. Okay, it is the strength of our brand. Okay, remember they did mention here is the strength. Okay, take note of that. Along with our superb hotel staff, okay, who deliver great service every day. So take note of that. Okay. It's the strength of our brand, superb hotels, okay, staff, okay, deliver, which underpins success and is a key driver of our future growth. Okay, so basically they have three things that actually the main factors that actually leads to their future growth. That is the brand name, all right, staff, and brand name and the staff that they have. All right, so basically they're focusing on this. We continue to deliver a market-leading customer experience by focusing on the quality of service. Okay, like I mentioned, they have quality of service. Okay, what else that they mentioned here? You see, it's best choice, locations. They have what? Offering great value for money. Okay, so through our network of 510 hotels, 46,000 rooms, we offer customer the widest choice of location. You see, which actually more choices for the customers. So the guests are able to stay closer to their destination, which is important to both our business and leisure customers. So here it means that they are actually focusing on customers. So what can you say about this particular strength? Remember, for the first question just now is on national competitive advantage, isn't it? Okay. So if it's on the national competitive advantage, basically, sorry, is the firm. Okay, basically this is a firm strategy. And what else do you have here? Okay. Your strength, you have firm, this is your firm strategy. So what else that you have that you can actually help you? Okay. So basically for your factors condition, for your Porter's diamond just now, you can find that these are some of the elements that you can actually use to write on your firm strategy. Okay. The widest location. Okay, what else that we can find here? Okay, let's have a look. This has been another successful year for Highlight, which record levels of customer satisfaction. All right. This has helped to achieve sales growth, leading to a rise in profits and strong returns for our shareholders. We now employ almost 11 1,000 people working across our 510 hotels and head office. So in the financial year to June 2008, total sales grew by 9.1% and on the previous year to 1.072 million. We achieved 9.5% growth in our underlying pre-tax profit to 236 million, and this growth in profit has produced a strong operating cash flow. So, which has supported capital investment, okay, in the business. Total hotel room occupancy remained high as we finished the year with an average room occupancy rate at 79.5%. So, where do you think that you are able to use this particular information? So if you notice that, all right, in this particular paragraph, they did mention about an average room occupancy rate of 79.5%. Okay, and then this one is actually reflecting your total hotel room occupancy remain high. So they are operating in D-land. So this is actually the home demand. So what else can you have here? So customer satisfaction, because you're talking about what? Okay, levels of satisfaction. So basically, because of this satisfaction, it already helps them to actually grow, right? So gives the returns to the shareholders. So basically, can use this particular information for actually home demand, right? What else can you actually use it for? And then after that, you also have here there is a continuing growth of budget hotel market, all right, as the luxury and mid-price sectors continue to decline, right? We offer the widest choice of location in D-land, the best value of money and true investment in our sites, all right, and hotel staff, okay, a great product in the marketplace. So basically this talks about what firm strategy just now. Okay, this one talks about firm. Okay, you can use this for firm. Okay, so you can talk about rivalry here, all right? How the competition is, okay, comparing them to others. So competition, okay, among the budget hotel is actually good, all right? But you can also talk about when it comes to competitors like luxury, those in the luxury and mid-price, okay, this particular sector is actually declining. Okay, talking about this, you can talk about the rivalry here. So what else did mention here? However, the environment in which we operate is evolving. Okay, competitor dynamics are changing. Through the both traditional and disruptive channels, customers are demanding for more value, okay, and quality. So this is actually related to your home demand. Okay, this one. Technology is developing quickly, especially digitally, and with cost structures under pressure, there is a growing need to focus on productivity and efficiency. Okay. Can also be under the strategy. There are quite a number of things that you can talk under the. In order to continue to be successful in the future, we need to invest to extend our current capabilities and also build new ones. Okay. Okay, there are quite a number of things that you can talk about here. All right. Okay. So the next part is the KPI. All right. What is it that you can actually get from this? Here is their KPI. All right. Commitment to shareholders. Basically, we tell you in terms of the revenue growth that they have. They're supposed to be actually their target is only 8%, but the growth is actually 9.5, 9.1. So actually they met the target. Okay. So in terms of the shareholders, all right, they met the target. Okay, so this one can actually tells you, supports you with your home demand, right? Customer satisfaction. Okay, so this can support you with the home demand. So what happened here? Okay, here commitment to start to staff. Okay, did not meet actually the target. Especially in terms of retention rate. All right. But when it comes to the training, yes, met. Okay, did not meet. Okay, met. Okay, so basically this is their commitment to environment is like when it comes to recycling, yes, they met the target, but not in terms of, okay, carbon emission. So basically when it comes to the performance indicator, that this particular highlight actually met most of its target except for two. It's quite difficult for them to actually meet the target for staff retention. Okay. So again, there are strategies here. So what is it that we have, okay, in this particular exhibit number 1? Wow, reading exhibit is exhaust. I feel exhausted. All right, I can't imagine you're sitting for the exam for 4 hours, going to and sitting reading these things. All the best to all of you. All right, so here, focus for the future. We have identified 4 key strategic themes. Okay, is related to the continued success of their brand. So focus on growth and innovation. Okay, still this is under firm strategy. All right. Okay, this is under the firm strategy. We continue to develop our market leading customer focus with further product innovation and consistent delivery of quality service and value. Innovation is vital for our future and we must improve our digital capabilities to ensure we stay ahead in this rapidly changing environment. So basically this can actually support you with your firm strategies as well. There are a lot that you can actually write, okay, on the national competitive advantage under the firm strategy. Okay. What else that we can, okay, that we can actually write on our, this is firm strategy. And then you're talking about as well, okay, on this second one, focus on our strength to grow. There are exciting market opportunities, okay, for establishing the highlight brand outside Zealand. And international growth is a new area of development and we will need to focus our resources on the best opportunities which will produce the highest returns and match our high expectations of quality, value, money, and commitment to staff and sustainability. So basically, this can be your further explanation on the Potter's 5 diamond. Okay, there are quite a lot that you can write here. Okay, when it comes to strategic location, just now all these particular resources, where did we find that? The strategic location, okay, this one. Remember that we had earlier on in the first paragraph, sorry, in the introduction, they did mention about this one. Where was it? This one here, the strategic locations here. Okay, this one has a similar, okay, this one here under the strategic location. Okay, this actually could help you with your factors condition. Forgot to highlight that. Okay, you can actually find it there. Okay. So here, this is your labor. All right. Oh, dear. Right. So basically, okay, you have a lot of farm strategy, all right, and then you here to deliver long-term sustainable returns, you must invest for our long-term to ensure we have skills, okay, to become more agile in digital capabilities and build efficient and sustainable infrastructure. Okay, so basically this one also can actually be your strategy, farm strategy, and creating a great place to work with a strong commitment to equality and diversity. And we will continue to commit to staff development opportunities, which will help them realize their potential. All right, so because of this word, help them to realize their potentials. All right, so you're talking about staff development, okay, and opportunities. Okay, this is actually factors condition under your knowledge. Okay. You want to create this. This is actually it can be related to that, but okay, as the because the problem that they are facing now is it's quite difficult for them to retain the people with the skills. Then you're talking about focusing on sustainability. Okay, environmentally friendly business. We are committed to continue development investment in sustainability. So you might want to actually remember the questions that talks about this particular sustainability and environmental management system. Okay, so you may want to use this for that particular question. Remember the press release. Okay, so reduce wastage, basically, okay, carbon emission. So this one you can actually tie it up with that particular question. Okay, that particular question was actually You may want to actually use it for question number. Where's the sustainability? Okay, question number 2. All right. All right. Some request for a break for fun, for a short while. Okay. But it's already 11 o'clock. We only have this, and we only have gone through exhibits number 1. Okay. Let's go through it slowly. All right. Okay, you're done there. So this is basically another exhibits that you have, okay, that may help you. Okay. As 2008 draws to a close, it looks like it will be a largely positive year for many hotels in Dillon, but does not mean that businesses can become complacent, right? Tourism has continued to thrive in Dillon. Despite the continued global effects of recession, hotels being an average rise in visitors by over 8% on 2007. Dillon has highly developed hotel and travel industry. All right, online travel agents and traditional high street travel companies are thriving in Dillon. So this is what? This is your supporting industry. Okay, so what else that we can find there? Okay, you have online hotel booking websites, price comparison websites, okay, to make it more competitive. So basically, these are the supporting industry. All right. This has a significant extent been assisted by Dillon's government's continued investment in national infrastructure. You see, government's continued investment in infrastructure. This is what you can also talk about. Okay, you can have like the new airport. This is actually part of your okay, so both the national and regional investment has been high in road and rail road transport. Okay. So basically, you can talk about the government support here. All right. It can also be part of your factors condition. All right. How do you differentiate between putting it under the government's support and then at the same time you use it for that particular factors condition? So you may just want to mention that under factors conditions that they have in Zealand they have a well established and developed infrastructure, right? So you can mention that they have all these road, rail, things like that. But under the government support, you say that the government has made an investment in this particular infrastructure. For example, what they have done, what they have built. So that one should actually be under the government support. Okay, how they have actually made the investment. Okay, this has also led to the growth in activities in the economy, which in turn has created more opportunities and created highly competitive environment. Okay, so this is where you can talk about rivalry. All right, 2 new national branded chains of hotels have opened in the main tourist centers. National competition remains intense, okay, and the rivalry, right? Okay. So here you are talking. Okay, this is what you have, right? So when it comes to the impact of the stakeholders, okay, remember we have actually one particular question that talks about this. Impact of stakeholders, you're talking about Zealand's travelers continue to be highly demanding leisure. This is what? This is actually another element of home demand. Kind of extensive. Okay, what you find here, there are quite a lot that are related to Potter's diamond. Okay, expecting high standards. Okay, this is the nature of the home customers, but also good value for money. A recent survey of online, okay, this is basically talking about, okay, indicated that 70% would shop around for the best deal in the best location. Hotel and travel industry was hit hard in many countries by the recession, and a number of hotel and travel companies went out of business. Okay. However, those which survived did so by focusing on customer strategy, all right, firm strategy, and operating efficiently. Government also continues to value the hotel and travel industry. Okay. So nearly half of the universities in Zealand offer travel and tourism. So this is basically your factors condition. Okay, in terms of the labor, things like that. Okay, and the government has recently announced further investment tax break, government support. Right? Offering job creation schemes in wide range of industry, which including travel and tourism. So basically, this is government support. Okay, so that's what you have. Okay, challenges in the hotel industry for 2009 and beyond. Customers want outstanding and personalized experience. So basically, this can be your evidence for your home demand. Okay, so home demand. Right, so here changing competitive dynamics. Okay, there is little doubt that the competitive landscape is changing. One evident trend is increasing consolidation, especially among hotels. Much of merger and acquisition activity stems from companies' objectives to gain market share and vertically integrate their product offerings. Okay, this is the example. Business operating in the budget segment want to buy into the mid-range of luxury hotel segment, vice versa. The nature of competition itself is also changing. New business models are emerging to meet the evolving consumer needs. As mentioned earlier, posing significant challenges to traditional hospitality. Okay, you still remember that the question did ask about disruptive technologies. So this part here, okay. So this is basically, okay. The one that talks about disruptive technologies. Bit, all right. We're talking about this particular question number 3. Okay, then we move on to the next one. So basically, this is the exhibits. Okay, the exhibits that you're gonna have. Okay, this is the background of Comfy Stay hotel chain. Okay, remember proposed acquisition target. Okay, this is the fact sheet that they were mentioning. All right. So this is actually relevant for your question number 1B. So under your 1B just now that you are supposed to be using the fact sheet referred to above and any other relevant information, prepare a report for the finance director which evaluates the proposal to acquire the Comfy Stay hotel chain. So we're supposed to be using this particular fact sheet to help you to actually answer this particular question. Okay, have a look at this. All right, you find that what are the things that you may want to actually comment on this particular fact sheet. Okay, remember that previously that this is actually a family run business, so you can expect that, okay, the kind of structure that may have may be a simple kind of structure, and it's the way that they do things may not be the same as how, okay, Highlight has are doing. Okay, they have been in operation for, they got 20 hotels, okay, over 18 years. But remember, Highlight is actually longer. since they have been in mission for 40 years, right? From the first page that you actually went through just now. So remember, they are talking about you're supposed to be doing the evaluation. So this is what you are supposed to be looking at. They have premium locations, but remember they have outdated facilities. Okay, this particular outdated facilities, okay, will result in many things. So we may want to read further on what happened, okay, but this is actually a mid-range hotel. They do have leisure facilities and gyms and pools. Remember that the home demand, that there are some of them that are actually moving from okay, they're talking about all this business leisure, all right, that the customers nowadays are actually, okay, for this particular highlight are demanding for this one, okay, demanding leisure and business customers expecting high standards, but excuse me, expecting high standards but also good value for money. All right, so remember this one can also be used to actually help you with this particular evaluation as well. Okay, perhaps by acquiring this particular comfy stay would be able to satisfy the needs of those particular traveler who demands for the leisure, because they have leisure facilities here, whereas the existing highlight they don't have. All right. Okay, remember here it says it's not a budget hotel, right? So what happened here in this particular place is that, okay, it's a developing economy. Okay. Developing about low wages, and there is some evidence of poor employment practice in this particular country. So this is something that you may want to actually highlight when you do your evaluation. All right. So still the industry is thriving. That means growing. Okay. And then you're preparing this particular 6-year plan. Remember, all figures have been converted into D-Lens home currency. What does it mean? That means in Vilanda, they're using another different currency. So here, all right, you're actually converting it into D-Lens home currency. So when there are, okay, they plan to operate in another country. Remember, that's what risk that actually is being. Okay, maybe perhaps this is under your acceptability. We can talk actually about this particular foreign exchange risk, right? Why? Because under evaluation, what are you supposed to do? Under evaluation, you're supposed to look into the oops. Feasibility. All right. So Some of this information you can actually use for suitability, acceptability, and feasibility. So the risk here, okay, you can actually use it for feasibility. So when you look at this particular return, the net present value, right? Perhaps you want to actually comment this. Okay, this can actually help you with this. All right, okay, in terms of financial risk and return, okay, this is under your acceptability, and then it should be done, but you have to be very careful. Remember, there's a risk, foreign exchange risk here as well, because it's in Dylan's home currency. Okay, you have converted it from Finlandia to this. Okay. What are the possible things that you may want? Okay, here it says that okay, Dylan's hotel manager will need to be relocated. Okay, on temporary basis to assist in training, okay, and will be required to carry out ongoing monitoring activities, okay, for the next 2 years. Okay, here you may want to look into the acceptance, still acceptability. Okay, stakeholders. Whom happen to be your employee. Okay, you can talk about, you want to relocate, risk of not wanting to go to Finlandia. That would be risk, all right? So what will be other risks? You can also have culture risks, right? Something that you can think of why you are actually acquiring another company that is totally opposite culture compared to yours, all right? So you may also have that as well. And then finance advisor would be available through a combination of this. Would this be acceptable by the stakeholders as well, right? Here can be for your feasibility, right? Where you mentioned that, okay, same points, this particular same points, okay, availability of resources. If you want to use it for feasibility, then you have to talk about the availability of resources that they can use for this particular acquisition that may be coming from equity and debt financing. But if you want to use it for acceptability, all right, you may want to talk about whether shareholders would agree in using combination funding. All right, so basically this is something that you can actually talk about. You have some for feasibility that you can write. Okay, you see, this is talking about what premium locations. Okay, and then whether this particular, okay, acquiring them would actually meet what in terms of suitability that you may want to find out for. Oh, all right. You may look into acquisition, supports, highlight, okay, this is what you have to actually answer. Okay. Okay, now has highlight hit low. Okay, what is this all about? Remember the criticism that you're talking about in one of the questions, and that particular criticism is supposed to be in which requirement? Criticism. That. Oh. Okay. This question number 2A. Remember, they're referring to this, so most likely that you are going to use this to answer your. Right. So basically, okay. This particular highlight recently announced it was making an approach to buy the struggling Comfy stay hotel chain in Vilandia. Comfy Stays owner, this DeWalt family, announced their intention to sell the business 3 months ago, having seen revenues decline steadily in the last 3 years. So basically, okay, this particular news is saying that, okay, they are declining, and that's where you are coming in to actually buy this particular hotel. So what makes them actually, reason why they decided to sell is because of this? Okay, but its potential acquisition by highlight, a positive move for the D-land-based budget hotel business. So this is actually the question posed by this particular news. So as I mentioned to you, this is a wordy paragraph. Break it into pieces. Okay, so like what we did just now in the earlier exhibit. So break it into pieces. You draw a line. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, what does this actually tells you? Okay, so reading its recent published chief executive statement highlights its business clearly prides itself on the value it places on staff and maintaining strong employment rights. Okay, however, staff in Comfy hotels are currently paid well below the rate by their equivalent staff in D-land. They also work longer hours per week with a few employment rights, such as holiday and sick pay. Most Comfy state staff are women and who are offered few opportunities for training or staff development. Okay. In addition, country states policy of only employing men as hotel managers and senior staff in its hotels would actually seem to be in stark contrast to the strong focus on equality within highlights employment practices. So basically, what this particular news is highlighting on this issue will be the contrasting principles between comfy and highlight. So because of that particular reason, okay, when you talk about that acquisition just now, okay, this you can actually use this particular reasoning to give, okay, to look into the possibility of culturist in acceptability, which you can actually use this as well. Okay. So staff pay and condition may not be the only concern. Comfy was fined by this particular government, okay, on polluting the local waterway in its main coastal tourist town with an outflow of untreated effluent. Okay, the cause was the outdated ways of toilet facilities, okay, which it said should be addressed. Okay, basically this actually, okay, is addressing for your press conference talking about the sustainability. Just now, that's question 2A, all right? So Q2A, all right? And then you can also use the one that you had just now from this question. Outdated facilities, remember, okay, who actually contribute to this particular pollution, okay, which is actually related. And then, although Finlandia has a thriving tourist economy, it has in fact grown since the local global economic recession. Okay, limited environmental awareness. Okay, now recycling levels are 50% less than other countries. So this is actually the things that you can actually use to help you to answer. Similarly, it's the same thing. All right, helps you to answer question 2A. Okay, and then here the criticism. These are the criticism that we mentioned. So you are supposed to be answering this particular criticism. So all right. So these are the criticism. So basically how you are able to actually counter this particular criticism is by going back to this. This particular part can also help you to answer question number 2A. That's why I put here 2A, the question number 2 as well. All right. You can use this. All right, you can use what information here to actually help you to counter the criticism that is actually being highlighted in this particular question number 4. Okay, not question number, the exhibit number 4. That shows that everyone is already tired. So this particular question, this particular exhibits, all right, they're talking about this Excuse me. Exhibit 5, this particular extract, okay, is the senior management team briefing after the article was published. So they had a meeting. So basically, this is actually the conversation that they have. So what they're trying to consider here is how to communicate. Excuse me for a while. All right. Okay, sorry for that. So let's go back to this. So Jay Brown, these are the people inside there, who they are, the sales marketing operation director, the chief executive finance director, all there. So they were thinking of how we can communicate the major strategic decisions, such as our proposed investment, okay, in Capistay Hotel. So basically, okay, Thomas is kind of like, not agreeing with that. Okay, we don't want to overreact. So our shareholders are only interested in bottom line. So as long as Capistay Hotels makes them profit, they wouldn't care much about anything else. Our hotels customers likewise are really only interested in their own personal experience for the duration they stay in one of our hotels. And do our hotel staff really care about more than how much they get paid and when their next day off is? So it's kind of, there's a disagreement between the chief executive and basically with operation director. So the CE is actually considering that the stakeholders, they must consider all the stakeholders and should communicate to them. So the issue in this particular exhibit is about how they should actually further communicate with the stakeholders, and they were talking seriously about the report on the social activities that they have to the stakeholders. So Thomas is like keep on, disagreeing and asking about the strategic advantage because he doesn't see what information would interest the stakeholders. But Elizabeth, who is actually the finance director, is talking about this particular integrated reporting. You see, up here are all the issues that they want to actually communicate to the stakeholders. So they don't know how to, what ways that they are able to do that. And Elizabeth now is actually asking them, okay, telling them that, okay, introducing integrated reporting would offer them the best solution in communicating and building relationship with stakeholders. So basically, these particular exhibits, all right, would actually help you to answer the question on integrated reporting. Okay, look at the issues that they raise, the kind of information that they want to actually communicate to the stakeholders. Okay, and then you will actually have to tie it back with the integrated reporting, which is actually for the question number 2B. All right, so this particular part here is actually helping you to answer on the 2B. However, you may want to relate it, those related areas, like, you find that something related to social environment, talking about strategy, are in other exhibits. So here are just like raising the issues on what they want to communicate with the stakeholders, but the detail of those particular issues, you can actually find it in other exhibits. That's where you need to actually integrate your answers with other exhibits as well. Okay, that talks about the same thing. You see, you find that in most of the exhibits that we went through just now, they did mention about social environmental activities, all right, that they actually have done. And then they also did mention as well, okay, about the customers' changing attitudes that they are facing. So which was actually discussed in detail in other exhibits, which can actually be a supporting for your integrated reporting explanation on these particular issues. Okay, so that's why you just don't depend on this. If you're just depending on this, you wouldn't know what else to put in as your answer. So you need to actually look at other exhibits as well that would actually help you. And the final one that you have here is actually the board minutes, okay, meeting, that talks about what? A detail on the disruptive technologies, which in this case just now that you have, okay, for your disruptive technologies, okay, it is actually to help you to answer question number 3A. Okay, so basically they're talking about this rent a room. So if you to read this carefully, you can actually relate it to like Airbnb. Okay, so Airbnb is like a threat, something similar to Airbnb. This is okay. In this question, it is rent a room. So rent a room is a great threat. Okay, to highlight. Okay, basically because why? And they are still able to offer rooms to people, okay, or homestay or a place to actually stay, even if they don't have the premise. All right. So this is basically the information that you're going to use for you to answer question number 3A. And basically from this as well, okay, you should actually be able to actually use this information in these particular exhibits to further support your question 3A on disruptive technologies. Once you know that K is a threat and how actually highlight can benefit, okay, the use of this particular disruptive technology to help them, okay, in their business. Okay, because after that, the question number 3A is actually asking you to highlight a potential application of disruptive technology which may be considered by highlight. Okay, so even though it's a threat, okay, this is actually the potential challenge that they face. And at the same time, you are supposed to be highlighting how this particular technology can actually help you to boost further your business. All right, see how it actually help this particular highlight to make full use of that technology for their strategy and for them to continue to grow. Okay, so basically here you can talk about this. All right, the images of this can actually help these people. So perhaps you can say that highlight might want to actually offer such app as well. So this is something that you can actually suggest, but make sure it's within this particular context. Okay, and the next part that you have is actually on the second agenda that they talk about is actually on risk. So basically this information will actually help you to answer question 3B. Okay, so what they have here is that, okay, they have actually categorized. This is the appendix that they put here. So they have actually identified the 3 types of risks which you need to actually put inside the last requirement. So, but in the last requirement, they ask you to actually prepare 3 presentation slides, 1 for each risk that you have identified, okay, and accompanying notes for the next board meeting, assessing the potential outcome of each of the information system risks identified. Okay, so basically you have to actually have, okay, these 3 has already been identified, so 1 slide for each of this. Okay, and then you need to actually assess the potential outcomes of each of these information system risks. Okay, what would be the potential outcomes? And then you're supposed to be recommending actions for each of these risks, in which highlight should actually take in order to control this risk. What would be the possible outcome for all 3? And then what would be the recommendations that, okay, you are suggesting highlight should actually take in order to control this particular risk. So basically this is actually related more on question number 3B. If you notice that some of the exhibits are directly related to some of the questions, and some of the exhibits are actually used throughout, okay, throughout the questions, and that means any question can actually use those particular exhibits. So once you read it, you should be able to actually identify that. All right. So do you have any questions so far? Okay, remember, like I mentioned to you just now, okay, some of you are asking, okay, it's easy for you to pick up, and you are saying that how do you draft your answer? So like I mentioned to you, okay, as we went through the mock exam, examiner's report, okay, yeah, last night, okay, what we have is that, okay, the way that you're going to write, once you've got your important points, okay, you have already put your points, you know which ones should be used for which, all right? The next thing that if you want to draft your answer, remember, you already know which one is connected to which. So you need to actually answer the question of what, why, and how. And inside that particular examiner's report, if you notice that I put something that is in the box, so that, okay, that actually directs you on how you should actually be answering the question in the context. Okay, let us actually go through back that particular examiner's report. To draft your answer, take note of this one. Okay. So evaluating how significant the points are, basically using information provided that relates to the point too. So in our case, we are talking about this particular highlight. Okay, explaining any consequences to the company. Okay, and then supporting the points made with relevant examples from the case material. So whatever points that you pick up, put them in this particular order, and it's here that I put where this thing is actually answering what, how, and why. So use this particular structure to actually answer that particular question. I hope that actually answers your queries. Okay. So if you notice that, that's actually what actually we went. What's happening? All right. Okay. And then I'm supposed to be going back to this. And before I forget, all right, ACCA Pakistan has already emailed all of you, okay, pertaining to one particular question that you can actually attempt, okay, which was actually not in the ACCA website. It was actually used for the tutors marking inside on how, okay, the marking should be. So what I've already asked them to do is to actually email it to all of you. I think Pakistan has already emailed to all of you who have participated. So what I can do is that, okay, there are some of the examples of answers that's actually being given, and how they actually give marks to those particular answers. So that one I'll be sharing it with you, okay, in the WhatsApp group. So I think we are done here. So, but I will actually continue for those in the WhatsApp group. Okay, I will continue to proceed with you and, you know, sending you how drafting of the answer would be and how, okay, marks actually will be allocated. So you don't have to worry about that, because our time here on air is actually limited. So, and it's not that easy for me to actually put everything in within this particular short period. Okay. So I hope that you can get some insights on what we have gone through tonight. Remember, I will actually go through with you again, continue this particular webinar, not just on air, but with our WhatsApp. All right, until you sit for your exam, inshallah. All right. So any more question? Do you have any more questions? Okay, we still have like only a few minutes left. You're most welcome, Umay. So any more questions? Okay, basically, okay, like I mentioned to you, okay, so when it comes to exam, okay, when you answer your examination question, okay, like I always tell this again and again, please do expect the unexpected so that you are prepared for it, because this is a professional exam. There's always something that is actually unexpected. All right. Once you know that something that's unexpected will be tested, at least you will actually become to face it, and then you will not panic. At least you can actually think. So I wish all of you all the best for your exam. All right. So we will be continuing in the WhatsApp, inshallah. So I hope you all have enjoyed the webinar, and thank you very much, okay, for being attentive, and good night.